He's the former Georgetown great, Knicks center, Hall of Famer, friend of the show, Patrick Ewing, back on the program. How are you?
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Not that I thought of you with this, but it just came to my mind on the DeAndre Jordan posterizing Brandon Knight. Were you ever posterized like that in your career?
Oh, man. You know what? As a shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on. And I've been dunked on by a lot of greats. Michael, for one, people always talk smack about it when to me when they see that one when he goes baseline and dunk on me. I've been dunked on by Dominique. Clyde Drexler got me a few times. So, when you're a great shot blocker, as I consider myself a great shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on sometime.
Jordan say anything after that dunk?
Well, he's going to say something after everything.
But I always, you have to, you'll get dunked on if you're trying to block shots. And you're right. People always said, Sean Bradley, he's always getting dunked on. I said, at least he's challenging the dunk. And,
right.
I said with Brandon Knight, I give the guy credit. We're making fun of him when at least he tried with backside or weak side help. Nobody else was there for that, the DeAndre Jordan dunk.
He tried, but he should have just tried to take. He should have just taken the charge.
I think he should have just grabbed onto his arm and held on for
early.
held on for dear life.
Yeah, right.
We say rest in peace to the Big East tournament, and I was talking about having the privilege to be able to cover the Big East back when you were there. When you had Villanova and St. John's. I remember Mark Jackson as a freshman at St. John's. I mean, I was lucky to be able to cover those teams and those coaches. But if you were going to look at how you guys played, how the Big East played then to how basketball is played now, much of a difference?
It's a lot different. First of all, back then it was a lot more physical. It was a lot more physical, a lot more in your face, a lot more rough and tough. The scores are definitely a lot lower. It was grind out basketball. Back in my era, that's when the Big East was the number one conference in my opinion. We were better than the ACC, the Big Ten, all of them. We were better than all of them. We had some great teams, some great players.
Best center you played against was who?
In college?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hakeem?
Hakeem.
Did you
definitely?
What about Sampson?
Sampson was great. He was also another one. It's funny. I tell people the story of we're playing Virginia, and you never know how huge Sampson is. I'm 7 feet 7'1", and I got the ball in the post, and I'm crouched down in the bent position, and I look up. And I just keep looking up. I'm like, oh, my God. This man is huge.
I thought he could have changed the center position to be that athletic at 7'4". And he wasn't like Mark Eaton 7'4". I mean, he was a 7'4" who was athletic. Yeah, he really was.
Very athletic, could do a lot of things. You're right. I think if he hadn't have gotten hurt, he had an outstanding college career. If he hadn't gotten hurt in the NBA, who knows? And also it was, you had both he and Hakeem playing together, and it's definitely how you have a 7'4", 7'5" guy as a 4.
Yeah.
Hakeem playing the center position.
He's Patrick Ewing joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Having covered Georgetown from afar back in the 80s. You guys weren't accessible to us, the players, that Coach Thompson kept the players away. But if you look at it now, was that good or was that bad for you guys in how the media and fans perceived Georgetown?
Well, I loved it. It was great for me. I thought that I came to college a boy, I left a man. Coach Thompson allowed me the opportunity to grow, not only as a basketball player, but also as a person. Back when I came into college, I was, the highly sought after player, and I wouldn't have been able to do every interview. Everybody wanted me to. I mean, they were pulling me here, pulling me there, and I thought that he gave me the opportunity to grow. He had a rule at Georgetown that freshmen couldn't talk to the press until January. I mean, I thought it was great, and people always gave him fault for that, saying that he put that in because I was there, but it was there before I got there.
But there was this veil of mystery with you guys too because of that, because of Coach Thompson. That when you guys took the floor, there was this feeling of we don't know exactly who they are, what they are, but they are damn good.
That we were.
But intimidating too. I mean that's part of it.
We were the Raiders of basketball. Everybody hated it. We were the team that everybody hated.
But you expected that though.
We should have wore some black uniforms and some of those black things that they put on their eyes and all that, some helmets. We were the Raiders of basketball.
Remember when you wore the T-shirt and it was like a big deal?
Right.
Why? Why was it a big deal?
I really don't know. But everybody gives me a credit for wearing a T-shirt on the uniform. Where I mean, other people have done it before me, but I was the one who made it popular.
And didn't
I pride myself on the one that made it popular.
Chris Mullin wore one too.
Yes, he did.
How did you get along though with Mullin? Because it was you and him, Walter Berry, Pearl Washington, those guys for the best player in the Big East. But your competition, competitiveness, how did you get along with those guys?
I got along great. Chris and I are very good friends. We're friends today. Chris and I spoke last week. He and I are very good friends. Walter, I've seen Walter about a year ago. He in the New York, New Jersey area. He had a restaurant in the area, but I haven't seen him since. But we all got along naturally. When we play each other, we're trying to kill each other. But after when it's all said and done, after the game is over, you still have to, still have to get along. You still have a life you have to lead.
Most competitive person you played against in the NBA was who?
Michael Jordan.
That's a pretty quick answer.
Michael Jordan.
But what was it that was different?
But you know what? There was a lot others though. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Charles. I mean, everybody is very competitive. You look at all the great players who've come through this league, and all of them have been very competitive, very driven. But I say Michael because he's the best player to play in my era.
At your peak, you against Dwight Howard.
Come on now.
I'm just saying, how would that play out? What would you do with Dwight? You bring him outside, you shoot that 15, 18 foot?
It's funny because when I was working with Dwight for those 5 years in Orlando, I used to tell him all the time, I said, Dwight, do you know I would kill you?
And what did he say?
He's like, right. I said, Dwight, I would tell him, Dwight, you're bigger, physically bigger than I am, stronger than I am, more athletic than me. But I said, first of all, I'm way more skilled than you are. I can shoot better. I would take you inside. I would take you outside. I would get you. You'd be in foul trouble before the half is over.
But at what point did you become an offensive-minded center as opposed to being could you have been a defensive-minded guy the way you were in college in the pros?
But see, that's the thing, Dan. Everybody, when they talk about me, they never give me credit for playing defense.
Well, we saw how you were in college, and you were so good at that then you became this offensive player, and I think people were like, wow, I didn't know Patrick had that kind of talent because Coach Thompson didn't sort of unleash it that way.
I did both, though. Yes, I was a great defender in college. We had a lot of other great offensive people around me, and also the college game, the zones, and all the things that they did to nullify the post position affected me in college. But then when I got to the NBA, there weren't any zones back then. You were able to play. You have to play one-on-one basketball, so that freed me up. And a lot of the things that I weren't able to do in college, I was able to do in the NBA. And naturally, you work on your game every year, and you get better. And that's what happened. I got better, but I still played defense. I was still the anchor to the defense. Was the last line of defense. Mark Jackson, John Starks, big fella. I'm sending him this way. Make sure you're there.
Before I let you go, can this Knicks team be successful with this lineup? When everybody's healthy, Amari, Carmelo, can they challenge the Heat?
Well, I think that, first of all, they're going to have to get healthy. Can they challenge the Heat? I don't think anybody can challenge the Heat, especially the way that they're playing. But who knows? In a 7-game series, I think it's going to be very hard. But you never can tell. The Knicks, they're playing well. They have to continue to play defense. They have to continue to share the ball. And you know what? The media needs to get off Carmelo. Carmelo is playing outstanding. He's hurt. He's playing hurt, and they just got to give him a break.
Will there ever be a day when you will put LeBron James above Michael Jordan?
No.
No matter what LeBron does?
No. Look, I got to give LeBron all the credit. He's playing outstanding. He's a great player. And the things that he's doing, he's fantastic. But Michael Jordan is the greatest player in my era, Michael Jordan is the greatest player. And the things that the competitiveness, the talent, Michael had the entire package.
But LeBron, no matter what, will never be better than Jordan.
No, not in my opinion.
Good to visit with you as always, Patrick. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, Dan. And I'm still waiting for my invite to come up to the man cave.
You can come up.
All right. It's just up the street. I'm just going to get in the car and ride up now and make sure you let me in.
All right. Just knock. You know what? I want you to have your Georgetown uniform on. Can you do that?
Well, I don't think it can fit anymore.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Patrick Ewing, the Hall of Fame center.